Welcome everyone to Silverstone, back with Division 3 again. It looks like we're going to start with some sunshine for once. Pretty sure the last two races I've been in it's been raining. But not today, sunny Britain. We've got a car coming out the pits already. I think I'd have learned how to use this by now. But apparently not. Who was it coming out the pits? Here we go. Ill Vision. Mr. Title Contender himself. Cool, so we'll watch him drive around the track while the other drivers sort their setups out. And the drivers are taking a while to get out, which makes me think they're debating whether to put a wet setup on or not. I could be completely wrong, but... So here comes Ill Vision, just coming around to the last couple of corners. We will do our normal jump on board with him, so you can see the Silverstone circuit, and then we'll see how the other drivers are getting on. So he's coming around the last corner, going to join the pit straight, and we're going to have a flat out turn 1, which quickly turns into turn 2, and then get on the brakes. Chuck it into turn 3, pull out wide, ready for the left hand. Get around the left hand kink and you're onto the first straight of the Silverstone circuit. DRS will be open. And we've got another fast left hand turn, which will turn into a long right hand turn. Don't wash out too wide. Careful on the exit. The power, because you're still turning as you're leaving the corner. Cut as much curve as you can, and this in qualifying will be flat out. It's not flat out in the race. That's a perfect amount of curve there. And then probably my favourite part of the F1 game, Maggots and Beckett's, chucking it in flat out, drop it down a couple of gears just for the exit onto the hanger straight, boot it as hard as you can. Another quick right hand turn, try and kiss the apex, use as much apex on the exit as you can, switch it back to the right hand side, heavy braking zone, flick left, flip right, careful on traction, get your foot down, take the right hand corner, and that is our first time of the day. How do I get the menu back? It's a 1:26.2, that is pretty quick. I mean, I think all that will get beaten, but that is a quick time. To start the session, we've got Williams coming round. Is it Hackett? It is Hackett, who is just starting a lap actually, so we'll watch him. So he comes around to turn 2. And I can't remember exactly where he finished last week, but I remember him getting involved in a couple of incidents. Not that I remember any of them specifically being his fault, just was in the wrong place at the wrong time. From memory it was Austria, I think. We've got a Mercedes that's just starting his lap. And Hackett goes purple in the first sector, as we've got a couple more times coming in with Nerdy with a 26.5. And then we've got Berserk with a 27.4. Joe Haywood comes across the line with a 26.1, so provisional pole for now. I'm hearing it's Nerdy's son's birthday today, so happy birthday. I think he's in bed, but you can pass that on tomorrow. Zetaful puts in a 26.4, and we're just watching the end of Hackett's lap here. As he comes to the last section of the track, Chris puts in a 26.8 and Jaeger a 26.9. So they go 5th and 6th. Hackett coming round the last couple of corners, and what is he going to post for his first time of the day? It is a 26.6, enough for 5th right now. So, well, Jordan had a solid race last week. Very impressive in the changing conditions, actually. I think it was wet conditions, and he currently goes 4th. So he is trying to push for title contention. Brandon coming around the last couple of corners, seeing all the cars coming around here now. And he comes round enough for 6th with a 26.6. And then Connor, I think, is the only other person on a hot lap. Here we go, got a bit more of a lap to watch with him. So he's just coming round to Stone now. Yeah, flick it in, flat out. Kiss the apex, use the exit curb. Perfect. Now do you dare go flat out? Got a little lift. You can go flat through there, but you've got to be careful you don't put your car in the wrong place ready for the next couple of turns, because it will cost you a lot of time. So Connor was obviously trying to get the first one perfect so he could get a good exit onto the hanger straight, and oh, it's just clipped and invalidated, and yeah, it takes to the grass to get into the pits, which don't blame him. We've got a couple of cars now on an out lap. Gunnar on his way round. Who's going to be the next car? We've got a Haas by the look of it. Is that a Haas? Yeah, it's got to be Lakatzis then. No, he's in the pits. There's another Haas. Where's the other Haas? There it is. Chris again. Going on a hot lap. I think he is. Saved up some battery. So here he comes round. Sector 1 then. Then just clip the curb there. Just got to be careful on exit, because again, you're still turning as you need to put your foot down. You could just see the rear end of his car trying to slide out. Kept it on track, get to about 50 metres, start to brake, turning in. Again, a lot of these corners are quite high speed, and there seems to be a purple first sector. We'll test whether that theory is correct by the end of the lap. And you get the car as far left as possible, flick it into the corner, use as much exit as possible. Right, does Chris take this flat out? Let's see. He does. Maybe a little lift, it might have been the curb, just caused a dull in the engine, but that looks pretty tidy, that. Boots it to the exit, carries as much momentum down the straight as possible. Again, just after the 50 metre board, start to brake, flick it in, and the curb sort of just unsettled the car. So unlucky, that looked like a solid lap. But let's watch Gunnar. So he's been very, very unlucky this season, to be fair to him. Had a couple of instances where you go flat through here, then he drops it, but it's still flat, I think. Again, he's carrying a lot of speed. That looked pretty quick through there. You want to be in the 103s. Oh, it was a 102. That's rapid. Maybe I'm just really slow, which I am, to be fair. Again, he's keeping a lot of power in the car, just using the gears to slow himself down. And here we go, slamming on the brake, starting to turn in. Clips the apex well, gets as much traction as possible. This looks pretty quick, to be fair. Where's it put him? Second. 26.2, well done Gunnar. It looked like a very, very good lap. Waz with 26.9 he's put in. Mikey, what about him? He's just coming through sector 2 now. And he's kept it in 7th. Near the car screaming, just a little lift. Gets into 6th. This is the corner that matters. Oh, and it looks like the car's just fighting him there. That wasn't the cleanest. As Nettleboy, 25.9, the first man into the 25s. Provisional pole for now. 8 minutes left of the session. Mikey coming around the last couple of corners. I don't think Mikey's going to be on pole here, but he's got time to improve. He's keeping a lot of throttle in there. I'm learning a lot from these guys. And he goes in 8, 26.5. Lakatzis hasn't set a time. Connor's back on an out lap. Lakatzis on his way down the hanger straight. Just these last couple of corners to navigate. Again, on the brakes, just misses the apex. And you could see Mikey was a lot more aggressive through there. But that's enough for a 26.8 and puts him in 12th, right next to his teammate. So how far is Connor around his outlet? He's got a little bit of time left yet. Let's try and pick someone else up that might be on a lap. Zetterville, I haven't watched him yet. So he is on his way down the old pit straight. I want to just keep watching this Maggots and Beckett. So are they going to be flat out? Zetterville misses the inside apex, and that's where you could start to be in a bad position for the exit into the Hackney straight. You just see he has to get out throttle. So is it worth chucking it in at full speed into the first corner if it's going to unsettle you? But let's see where his time takes him. Again, takes a lot of curb there. Saw Chris earlier taking a bit of that, and it unsettled the car. Zetterville takes again a good piece of that curbing. Flat out round to the line. That's a 26.4. I don't think that's improved him. It's actually a slightly slower time than before. Jordan in sector 2. Is there anyone we haven't looked at yet that is out on a lap? Joe, invalid. Can't watch him. Hackett, we watched him earlier. Lukatsis has just come round. What about Connor then? Oh, that's very wide. That's probably invalidated. Yes, it is. Back to Jordan then. 10th and a half. Better off on his time. Where would that take him? That takes him roughly 4th. Depends on how he gets on in this final sector. So last 2 corners to navigate. His teammate's overtaken him. Not for long. 26.0 goes into 2nd, so putting pressure on Nellboy, but currently Nell has the advantage. Can anyone else get into the 25s? Hackett's... Is he on another lap? I mean, he hasn't got much ERS. Let's see if he... Nah, he can't be on another lap, surely. Nah, he's not. He's got his ERS light on. What up, Brandon, then? Are you flat out through it? Oh, he is. Brave. But again, he keeps a nice line through there and attacks the final exit curve perfectly. Flat out now. Down the pit straight. Flip your car in. Just touch the curb. Oh, you can see his rear end's fighting him. It looked like it wanted to go, but he controlled it well. Slam on the brakes. Turn it in. Give it a little pump of accelerator and get round the corner and get going again. And this is a 26.6. Enough for 10th, so he's got some work to do. What about Bog? Are you on an outlap? Is there anyone else closer to starting? Wise is in Maggots and Beckett. So we've got Ill Vision, the invalidated. It's a fresh lap. Still saying he's invalidated, so maybe it's this and next lap that he's invalidated. So what about a watch of Bog as he comes over to start his lap? Here we go. So round into turn 1. And takes a nice chunk of the apex. Gets the car turned in nicely. Put down on exit, that's perfect. That's a pretty good sector 1, that. Can he go careful? Oh, it says he can. Again, we'll see whether that's the truth any moment. He comes down the old pit straight now. You can get a bit tighter to that inside corner there. Might cost him a little bit of time. Is he going to go flat? He's kept it in 7th. He's up into 8th now. So does he go flat through Maggots and Beckett's? He does. First corner he's flat. Just drops it down again. Steadies the car. That's not too bad. Could have taken a little bit more curve in there, but that's pretty good as it goes. He's 6/10 better off on his time, and that is going to put him in the top 10 if he can carry that on. Still very aggressive on the throttle. He's got nice speed flowing through these corners. Slams on the brakes, just misses the apex. Not too bad though. Uses as much curbing on the exit as possible. Round across the line. It's a 26.2. That's a huge improvement up to 4th. good lap from Bog. What about Wazza? How can he respond? He's 4 tenths up, coming around the last corner. And that puts him up into 9th. Nerdy now out is just hanging on to the top 10. He's had a good couple of weeks, Nerdy. He's currently sat in the pits. So Berserk is now on his way through Magnus and Beckett's. He flicks it down. And it's not the end of the world. You will lose a bit of time, but I mean, he's not made the most of the exit there. Has he pulled out of his lap? It looks like he has. Yeah, he's got his ERS on. Bog's been round. Katsis is on a lap. Yeah, I think we'll join Lakatsis then. In the Haas, coming around sector 1. Got a lot of ground to make up. I don't think we've got a huge amount of time. There's some cars coming out of the pit, so we must have about 2 minutes left. So we're going to be close. So the drivers have just informed me that this is actually going to be a change in conditions, and this is why we didn't see many people come out of the pits early on. We're going to have a dry start, some wet weather in the middle, and then dry up again. So we're going to have to see how much rain comes down in the race, because if it's just spitting, you could stay on slick tyres. And the Katsis has made 3 tenths up on this lap. Where's that going to put him? Could just nip Nerdy out of the top 10 if he has a good final sector. Looked like he ran a little bit wide round there. Now hit the curb. Perfect. That's really well done, but he's washed out wide for the next one. Nelboy improves on his time at 25.9. 5. Lakatsis at 26.7. So actually lost time in the final sector there. What about Jago? How's he getting on? Down towards the bottom at the moment. Try and keep an eye on the others, but we'll give Jago some airtime. So he comes down in his Alfa Romeo. Pretty neat so far. And again, he was someone that was promoted from Division 4 last year, and he's made a pretty good start to life in Division 3. He got the kahunas to go flat. He has. Could have cut a little bit more of that first curve, but not too bad as it goes. And again, could have cut a bit more of the last one, but it's not bad. He's still a 10th up. He's going to want a lot more than that. It says it was a purple sector 2. Not too sure about that. And we're now getting to a point where people need to set their final laps. The clock has now expired, so anyone over the line right now can finish their laps. Jago will not get another shot. Here we go. Where's he going to end? So 26.7. It's enough for 14th. Right, let's go a bit further up. Zetterfall's putting a 26.0. Is he's ERS in. So what about Jordan then? He's got a hat in front of him. I wonder if that's Chris. He's down in 15th for now. But let's watch Jordan. See if he can remove Nelboy off the top spot. He's been there since he set his first lap. And is he in the 25? This looks quick. It is. It's 25.7. Jordan goes provisional pole. Nelboy's in the pit, so he's not going to be able to respond. Zetterfall will not be able to respond. What about Guna? He's a 10th up. That's not going to be enough. Needs to find half a second in these last couple of corners. And Ill Vision down in 7th does not improve. Come on in, Guna. What you got in these last couple of corners? Can you move Jordan off the top spot? No, he can't. It's up to 4th though. That's a 26.0, and that, I think, is your order. Connor just chucks a lap in at the end with 128. But big story of the day, Bob 7th. Congratulations to him. That's probably nosebleed territory for him. The 2 Mercedes 5th and 6th, Guna in 4th, Zetterfall 3rd, Nelboy in 2nd after being top of qualifying for so long. But Jordan with an epic lap at the end, 25.7, 2 tenths ahead of Nell, 3 tenths ahead of anyone else. We've then got Ill Vision 8th, Chris 9th, Hackett 10th, Wazza 11th. Nerdy drops out of the top 10, he's in 12th. He'll be hoping for more in the race. But who will the conditions suit, we'll find out very, very shortly. So Jordan on top, Nelboy second, Zetterville third, Guna in fourth, Hayward, Brandon teammates fifth and sixth, Bog in seventh, Illvision eighth, Chris in ninth, Hackett 10th. Then we've got Wazza, Nerdy, Mikey, Lakatsis, Jago, Berserk, and then Connor nipped a time in right at the end at 17th place. Going to be an interesting race. Ever-changing conditions. It's going to have to be a lot of strategy choices here. Do you go in for inters? Do you stay on softs? All depends on the amount of rain that comes down. But for now, we'll wait and see what the conditions are like. So it turns out it's going to be a wet start. I'm not sure how wet this circuit is though. But the menus for the drivers will determine whether that needs to be a wet start or not. Right, what's the tyre of choice? It looks like an Inter by the look of it. There's Inters everywhere. There is a bit of standing water. So yeah, it does, yeah, I mean, it's definitely Inter weather, isn't it? Not really any dry lines anywhere. Cars for now will be trying to get as much heat into those tyres as possible without overheating them. But conditions like this are a nightmare because you want a bit more tyre pressure to keep the heat in your tyres when it rains. But you don't want that much temp in there when it's hot or dry. Because then your tyres start to overheat. If your tyres overheat, you lose grip. So it's just a bit of a nightmare. Like you almost have to run slightly colder tyres in the rain and put up with it because you can't afford to be without grip at all when you're in the dry. So I think if this is due to dry, like we're suggesting it is, I think there's going to be all dry setups out here. But you never know. Someone might have taken a punt with the wet setup and just hope to do enough to stay in front as Jordan leads them back round to the pit straight, ready for the start. So he's got to go and put his car in his grid box. And you'll see if anyone overshoots their grid box with the DSQ, and there's Zetterville right on time. Shows us how it's done. Pretty good camera angle. I'll see if it stays there, but Jordan is going to see the lights in front of him. Here we go. So we've got 3, 4, 5 lights. Out, there you go. And is that a sluggish start from Jordan? I think he's done enough to get away well. So yes, he is pulling a gap. Nell has actually had a poor start, and Zetterville, even though he's disqualified and further back in his box, has actually got through. So, and what are these camera angles? So Zetterville gets through on Nelboy. There looks like there's some yellow flags going on further back, but no one looks too bad. I mean, Guna's lost a hell of a lot of places. I wonder what's happened there. Bog's down in 9th, but everyone at the top seems to have got through safely. So Jordan's already a second and a half roughly out in front. Nelboy's 3/10 behind Zettervold, trying to get his second place back, and you just see a bit of understeer there for Nelboy as we go round. But he's now switched it back and he's made the move on Zettervold to get his second place back already. But Zettervold is pushing back at him down the old pit straight. They're side by side. And here comes the Hamilton-Verstappen moment. But they both respect each other there. Oh, and Brandon's going to get through on Zettervold because he had to back out of the move slightly, and it's just put Brandon on the front foot. What about Hayward? Can he have a go at him? Just needs to keep the car nice and stable through the exit of this final corner of 3. But Zettervold looks like he's putting pressure on Brandon instead. And here we go, right up behind him, and Nelboy's just down the road. I wonder if Zettervold is running a bit less wing because he was very quick on a straight there. But he's run it wide, and that's where it makes me think, have you run less wing? And we're going into the final corner with Brandon trying to make a move but can't make it stick, and his teammate just behind him, Joe, is just keeping the others at bay and letting him have a tussle with Zettervold there. But as we make our way down, so Joe's just behind. Ill Vision has made his way up to 6th. I think he's gained a place. Chris is right up there in 7th. Hackett in 8th. Little Mikey and his teammate Waz are right behind him in 9th and 10th. And Bob down into 11th. He won't mind that. He will just wait for others to make mistakes. Jaeger Bomb up to 12th. Nerdy is actually in the pit. Something's happened to him. As we then see Lekatsis Berserk Guna. I wonder what happened to Guna early on. He now finds himself at the back of the pack as Brandon is past Zettervold. I've just missed that, sorry, but we've got Guna making about a triple overtake here. Bit of contact there. We've got the Hassan. Oh, I think Guna's let him back through, to be fair. So I wonder if he did something he maybe shouldn't have. But anyway, let's move further up. Zettervold's back on the back of Brandon. So Zettervold's definitely running lower wings, 100%. Looking at the gain he's getting on the straights. And he can't turn the corners, look. So I wonder if a couple of them have cranked up their wings. Joe now, if he can make an attack in here, that would just help his team out. But Brandon's losing touch to Nelboy. 2.5 seconds of the gap now. So the 2 out in front are feeling quite comfortable at this stage. I don't think Hayward's going to have any answer to Zettervold here. Unless he burns a lot of ERS. I don't think he is, to be fair. I think he's banking it. He has to back off. Ill Vision and Chris are actually going at it just behind them. Ill Vision on the outside currently got the place, but Chris is going to look down the inside, but yeah, it's too far back there as Jordan keeps setting up the fastest laps of the race. And is that Hayward? Is it? Is it Hayward and Zettervold? It is. Thought Hayward was going to try and move down the inside of the last corner. That was asking for it, but look at this. Hayward's so much quicker through the corners. This is where Zettervold is really, really struggling. And Hayward is only a 10th behind. But you just watch now. We'll sit on board with him. And Zettervold, you watch, he's going to have so much more pace. He seems to have a ton of grip coming out the corners as well. Ran a bit wide. I wonder if you get a warning for that. But yeah, you can just see Hayward struggling to keep up. But again, look, Zettervold into the corners, just struggling. This is where Brandon got him earlier, I think. And Zettervold's thought, I've been done twice there now. And I'm going to cover the apex off. So nicely done. I think Hayward might be able to have a go at him. He's not, because he's not so strong around this next corner. And if Hayward can nail it, yeah, look, he's struggling. And Hayward, if he can keep the pace in the car, he can't. Might just have been able to get back in front of him. I wonder if Hayward could do with like just upping his diff a little bit just to see if it helps him. But Zettervold again running wide. Hayward's going to get the power down, and here we go. He's got the overspeed, but he's got nowhere to go. He had to back out of it. He's now turned his ERS on, and he's currently side by side. Zettervold's coming back at him. You can see the straight line, but is Zettervold? Yeah, he spun him. You could see he'd been struggling there all day, and I was about to say it just as it happened, but he was going to run wide there, and he has hit Hayward. Hayward rejoins the track. I think he's okay, but he has got Connor for company, who has made his way up into 12th from 17th place, and Hayward's run wide, so a mistake, not necessarily from him, but that's what can happen. But look at Nelboy, how's he caught Jordan so quickly? Well, we'll stick on board with these two then, see what happens. As they're both making their way down the straight, the rain has got other ideas about stopping. It looks like it's actually getting worse rather than better. Nelboy makes his way. Oof. I think he wanted to line up a move there and just had to get out of the way. But no damage done. He's right back behind him. Is he trying to get out of the slipstream there? Not sure. Are they trying to cool their tyres down? Not really sure. They seem to be playing a bit of cat and mouse. But Nelboy's so good out of that corner. Look at the speed, but he's not going to make the move down here. He's going to wait for the hanger straight. Get Jordan's run wide here, so this is going to give Nell a huge amount of overspeed. Doesn't even need the slipstream, he just gets it done with his ERS. Jordan's trying to come back, but he's going to have to sit in behind, see if he can catch him. So I wonder if Nelboy now can do some damage, but the those two having that little bit of a scrap. Has Nelboy's come in? Why is Nelboy in? That's very odd. Do they think the conditions are changing? Because Brandon's in as well. Looks a tad early to me. Just a bit too early in my opinion. Ill Vision now will take over in second place. If they get it right though, they will come back at the pack. I mean, it's still raining. Like, is that what they're doing? Is it softs? It is softs. He's in for softs. There's quite a few people doing it, so there must be some radio calls saying it is the right strategy. As Wazza looks like he's just taken a spin. Bog gets through on him. And the Katsis now, the last of the interrunners, as Nelboy comes out on a soft. Let's have a look then. What's this going to be like? You just got to be able to keep the temperatures in these softs. It just looks maybe a lap too early in my opinion, but these guys know better than I do. Doesn't look too bad. You can hear a bit of wheel spin going on, but it's not like he can't control it. So I think Nelboy's going to be the indicator. He's 10.6 behind Lekatsis. And he's already taken 2/10 out of him. So, maybe it is the right call. So Nerdy is now also in the pit. But look at the field is very, very spread out. Because I think half came in, half came out. And it seemed to be one car then the other. But Jordan remains in the lead. Is he going to come in this lap? He is. So it is obviously the right call. It's drying up. So he's in. Ill Vision comes in. Chris follows him. Is Mikey coming in? He is. Bog is also coming in. Waz is going to come in. There's a bit of, could be a double stack happening here. And look at Nelboy. Already 2 seconds out of Lekatsis. So it was the right call. It was the right time. Jordan, I don't think is even in his pit box yet. No, he's not. Nelboy's going to have this comfortably, I think. He's coming around the last couple of sectors. Jordan's got a long way of pit limit to go, so Jordan's going to lose out big time from this. Look, the track looks dry already. So here comes Nell, and Jordan's just about getting moving again, so Nelboy's comfortably through. Good call from him. What about Brandon then? He's starting to make his way through, and there's Jordan there, and Brandon's just made a bit of a mistake that might just cost him. He's on hards. Ooh, let's look at the tyre choices. Ooh, do they think they can get to the end? Nelboy went in on softs. Interesting, but that has given Brandon a big, big advantage there. He's gained a lot. He's right on the back of Jordan. And Jordan is 5 seconds back from Nelboy. Nelboy on the softs will be looking to just pull away from this group now. They're on hards. He needs to get a move on softs. He's going to have to come in. I think it's ambitious to get hard all the way to the end, but it's doable, I think. Just going to be struggling hard, and a few of us a bit further down have taken different strategies. Now, Bog is also on the soft tyre. Right, get rid of the tyres for now. Brandon 5/10 back from Jordan. Probably the closest battle is Hackett, looking at the back of Mikey. That's for 7th place. They're coming down the hanger straight. Try and keep an eye on Brandon to see if he gets any closer. Oh, as Chris and Ill Vision are going at it again. Into the same corner that they were fighting earlier. And Chris gets the place back. Ill Vision. Nelboy sticks in the fast lap of the race. Not a surprise on soft tyres. Chris keeps his position. Ill Vision continues to follow him round onto the pit straight. Hackett got a little bit closer. Couldn't be close enough for the overtake. So let's stick with him round onto this next straight and see if he can make any inroads. But actually, Wazza is putting a lot of pressure on Connor here. As they come around into turn 3. Is Wazza going to try and line up a move? He takes a wider line here, and that's going to be to get a better exit. And I think this is going to get the job done for him. But Connor gets good traction away. But look at that. Wazza straight back on the back of him. He's got his ERS deployed, and that is as easy as it gets. Connor's now got Gooner for company. And Wazza's going to be looking at for both of them. Sorry, Gooner's going to be looking to take Wazza as well. Bit of a tough night. He's down in 12th, but he's starting to recover. Gooner's just letting Connor know he's there, getting into his mirrors. Gooner's really, really neat through Maggots and Beckett's there. Get it right on exit, and he could be all over him by the end of the hanger straight. Nellboy's pulled out another 2.5 seconds since he's been watching everyone else, and here comes Gooner. Is he going to make it stick before the corner? He's on softer compound tyres, he needs to get it done. Connor hangs it round the outside. Gooner's going to continue round the outside, but it's not going to get it done for him. You're not going to be able to get the overtake done there, so a bit more frustration for him. Mikey's putting some pressure on Yago now. So can Mikey line up a good exit then onto the straight, do what his teammate just did. His foot's down, Yago's also away. Is Mikey going to get close enough? His ERS is on, and this again looks like it's going to be an easy overtake for the McLaren, and up to 6th he goes, and he's got Ill Vision in front of him 2 seconds down the road. So, got to get going. Bog is putting some pressure on Hackett for 8th place. And Bog is on the soft tyres, so he should get moving forwards. As Nell pulls out another second since I spoke about him last time. So looking comfortable out in the lead. We'll have to pit again, probably in the next 5 or 6 laps. Ill Vision is still on the back of Chris. We're on board with Bog, who is trying to make a move on Hackett here. And just had so much more confidence through there. And look at the advantage it's given him down the straight as he goes down the inside. Hackett tries to hang it round the outside. He can do it out there, and I think he is still side by side. It's hard to tell from here, but I think Bog has got his nose in front. He has. He comes into the corner in front. He's now got Yago in front of him a second down the road. Yago's a second back from Mikey, who just saw that move, and Chris is getting closer to the back of Brandon. Brandon not finding the hard tyres as easy as maybe Jordan is. He's chopped off the back of him, and he's got Chris all over the back of him, and good couple of turns there from Chris, and he gets some good grip out of turn 4, and he's going to find an easy overtake here on Brandon. You can see him just leaving him behind, tucks in front, takes the racing line round. I think it's Luffield this call is called. I could be wrong. And Chris is released to go after Jordan, but Ill Vision now, the next car, he is also on the hard, so no excuse for Brandon now. Bog is putting more pressure on Yago, and Yago's flashing. Is that because of the wet weather? No, that's just because he's out of ERS. So if Bog again can get these couple of corners right, that will be Bog through, I think. And he's looked pretty neat so far through here. Just look at the grip difference, and Bog is flying. And there he goes with the ERS, and it's just an easy overtake there. Down the straight, Yago's defenceless there. Brandon was starting to come back at Chris for a second, but just started to drop back again. Maybe Chris made a little bit of a mistake and has just recovered it. But Ill Vision is right on the back of him. He's pushing him along as Lakatsis falls back from Zetterval, down in 15th. Not sure what happened to him. There you go, just sticking to the back of Bog as well, but again, Bog on those quicker tyres. See how long that lasts for though. Soft tyres will start to fade away in about 4 or 5 laps time, but Nellboy has pulled out another second since I spoke about it last time. He's now 8 seconds out in the lead. Brandon's now dropping back from Chris. He's just in the zone of losing the DRS and needs to try and keep that as much as possible. But Hackett is now the next car to put some pressure on Yago with no ERS. as he's been absolutely chewing it to try and keep up with Bog. And Hackett's got plenty in reserve. Diego runs wide, and there's the warning. Picks up a 3-second time penalty. I think he already had one as well, so it's at least 6. And Hackett nice and neat through there, and again get a good exit. He's going to get a good slingshot on Diego. Diego gets DRS though, that's going to make it difficult. And you can see Hackett does not deploy any ERS on this occasion. He's going to try and charge his battery and have a go at him later, and look, Diego is drinking it. Got none left. Illvision continues to put pressure on Brandon. Brandon is keeping within that DRS zone. It's less than a second. Again, I think Chris might have a more of a dry setup that's helping him down the straight. Brandon just seems to be quicker in the corners. But this is a good exit from Illvision. What a camera angle that is. Now, can he create enough toe there to get through? And Illvision maybe also not the quickest in the straight, but look at the time he's making up in the corners. So I wonder if he went for a wet setup and that's why he's struggling to get through. See, because on the straights Brandon just seems to be able to pull away even with slipstream, and Hayward's through on Connor a bit further down the field. But yeah, Illvision even with slipstream doesn't seem to be doing any damage. I think he's doing it all in the corners, which, if I'm right, means he'll close up through here. And yeah, look, he's just got so much confidence to flick it into the corners. But again, I think we're just about to see Brandon open his wing, and away he goes. Look, he's pulling out a gap even with slipstream. So yeah, Illvision won't run far too much wing. But I think those soft tyres now are starting to fade away. Hackett gets past Diego. As you can see, Nellboy hasn't done any more damage since we spoke about his tyre difference last time. Still 8.5 seconds. And Bog not... Is he? Yeah, I think he is gaining on Mikey, to be fair to him. He's got a nice 1.5 second gap with Hackett behind him. And he's now going to go and attack Mikey. Zestful gets past Berserk further down the field. And Illvision is actually ever closer to Brandon, probably where he was this time last lap. So getting a bit frustrated, I think. Just knows that Brandon's too quick on the straights, and you can just see like Illvision can put so much more power down because he's got the extra wing power and the downforce to help him around the corner. He can be a bit more aggressive on the throttle. Brandon's just got to be a little bit more careful, but he makes all his time back up down the straight. He's got good defence down there. Illvision makes a bit of a mistake, so Brandon will be on the front foot now. And we'll probably start to increase that gap. You can see, look, it does start to increase. Bog is now within a second of Mikey, and these three don't seem to be swapping positions, so I'm going to go and watch Bog, because he has been closing on Mikey. Is he close enough to have a go down the next straight? Left full and Berserk fighting again at the end of the hanger straight by the look of it. I must say, Bog seems to be very neat through this section of the circuit. Now, can he get after Mikey within the DRS zone so he gets his wing open? Again, not quite close enough. It just runs a little bit wide there, following Mikey. Mikey ran wide as well. It's very easy to do when you're following a car. Concentrate on them rather than your line. But Illvision looks the closest he has been for a long time, and they're going round Stowe together. Illvision's going to have the grip out of the corners, but again, unless he can get this right and get a slingshot on Brandon, and it must be horrible in the dirty air. He's going to struggle because Brandon's going to open. Oh, he's not. He's lost his DRS. And here we go. Ill Vision on the move. Round the outside. And Brandon's got no answer to that. And I think we're just about to see Ill Vision's corner in performance. He will probably pull away a little bit from Brandon. Until Brandon comes back down the straights a little bit later in the lap. Again, Bog ever closer. As Nellboy is in the pits. So he needs to change those tyres, and then he will go to the end. I wonder if he will be able to get mediums to the end. Maybe you get another set of softs on. Softs might be pushing it, but let's have a look. No, he's got mediums. Gone to the mediums, so that'll get him to the end quite comfortably. Pretty well behaved race so far, not any safety cars. In fact, none. Which is great, because I think last week every other lap was a safety car. Nellboy gets out and he's in front of Zetterville. Bob just runs a tiny bit wide there. But again, Mikey runs wide in the next corner and it allows Bog some time to come back at him, but Mikey's exit is very good. Just opens up this gap a little bit more again. So we've got Ill Vision trying to chase down Chris. Now, I'm not really sure whether we can call Nell net P1 here, because I'm not sure if Jordan does actually have to pit again. He's on hards. I'm sure he'll be trying to run them to the end, but what that does mean is that Nellboy will be trying to catch as quickly as possible. I don't know if Jordan will come in or not. Just have to wait and see. He might try a hard soft. But he could always try and go to the end. But Ill Vision also on the hard tyre. Chris will probably have to come in. I don't think he can stretch his mediums all the way. Doesn't mean that Ill Vision can't come and put some pressure on him though. As I think Bog is now starting to struggle on those softs. He's not really making any inroads into Mikey now. As Nellboy's already through on Hayward. Can we catch the back end of it? It's through into turn 1. A brave move. See now Nell really getting on with it. You normally see him with maximum ERS. He's only used 30%, but he is cracking on. He hasn't got time to hang around. And if there's a safety car, he wants to be overtaking the pack. And his next car down the road is Guna, 3 seconds ahead. We've got Wazza on Jaego here, and Jaego again still flashing, hasn't recovered his ERS. As Ill Vision is still trying to put some pressure, and Jaego goes wide again. Let's have a look at this penalty situation. Joe picks up one as I'm turning it on. Jaego with 3 seconds, Mikey and Bog with 5. That must be pit stop, and Wazza just gets a little bit unsettled there and has to get out the throttle. No harm done, and he is really gaining on Jaego because he's just got no ERS. So hard to defend, your car's just powerless without that extra battery power. And even when you're not deploying it, the battery power does still work. And here they go down the pit straight. Wazza getting ever closer. And I dare say that if he gets these next few corners right, he will line up a move on Jaego with no ERS. Surely going to be defenceless. Runs it wide, wants the better exit, and he does. He just slows the car down, gets it straightened, and here he goes. This should be easy pickings this time for Wazza as Jaego goes to the inside. Wazza flicks back to the outside, and away we go. And you can just see in the background there, Nell is now catching Guna. Fresh tyres, purple sector from Nell, and just catching everyone all the time. He's put himself in a great position here. There you go, just a little lift around there in the race, and Guna knows that he's beat there, moves out of the way of Nell. Doesn't want to fight him, he knows he's not his race. And Jaego, who we saw Wazza going after not that long ago, is the next victim. 7 tenths. Ill Vision has now got past. Oh, it's because he's in the pits. not because of an overtake on track. Let's go back to Nell. As the Red Bull of Bog is also in the pits, dumping those soft tyres. We might even be able to get another set of softs to the end. Let's have a look, shall we? I think he should go on softs. As Nell Boy, his teammate, comes around. He's now in 8th place because the pit stops. Trying to look for Bog's tyre choice. Yeah, back on softs. Good choice. Okay, let's get the penalties back up. It's Nell now on the back of Jaego, who's actually banked a bit of ERS here, but Nell will get going, and Jaego gets his wing open, but so does Nell, and he's got the inside line here. Give me a better camera angle. Nell's got the job done, and he's Wazza next. So the next question is, will the leaders pit? I mean, Nell Boy is on the charge, and if they do pit, he will jump them quite comfortably. So again, just a little lift. Wazza runs a little bit wide. It means that Nell Boy can pull ever closer. And we're going through Maggots and Beckett's. A little lift again. Here we go. Down the hanger straight. ERS is on. DRS is open. Wazza moves to one side, and that is easy for Nell. No defence for Wazza there. Nell Boy can move back onto the racing line. And now Hackett is next, and you can just see him in the distance there, coming around these last couple of corners, and Nell Boy firing anything silly. It's looking pretty comfortable. The only concern for him will be if people don't pit, but if they don't pit, they will be slow, and Nell Boy is catching people at the rate of knots. He's already 2 seconds away from Hackett. Jaego gets past Guna in the pits. And this has been an absolute masterclass from Nell Boy today. I think he's shown everyone how to make overtakes, how to do it sensibly. Pick your moments. Not every single corner is an overtaking opportunity. Line them up. Use your ERS effectively. Be on the right tyres at the right time. He's made his way all the way back to 6th from a soft or an into soft medium run so far. And Hackett is now within a second. DRS is open. ERS is on. And this is going to be tight to make it here, but he's turned it off. I think he's going to fight the battle again in a minute. And this is what I mean about picking your times. If Brandon and Ill Vision, it's because Ill Vision's in the pits. This is what I mean about picking your moments. Nell Boy's just being patient. He's waiting. He knows he will get the jump on him. He's quite close to Hackett already. He's just getting out the slipstream, so he's not too close to him. And Nell Boy is now through on Wazza and Ill Vision because they are in the pits. Sorry, he's already through on Wazza, weren't he? But Ill Vision is in the pits. And here we go. Hackett's probably going to struggle out of this turn 4, and Nell Boy, yeah, it's going to be another easy pass. The DRS is open. Hackett on the hards, and Nell Boy is up to 4th, and he's only 8 seconds back from the lead. So Jordan has surely now committed to not stopping, and that means Nell Boy just needs to keep pumping in the laps, because Jordan will get slower and slower as the tyres drop off. So 8.2 the gap to the leader. Little Mikey is the next down the road in 3rd, and I think Mikey will be trying to run to the end. From memory, he was also on the hard. Oh, he's on mediums. How old are they? 13. Surely not going to the end on them. He might be. But if he's not, that will be another car out of the way for Nell Boy. And he's taken about 2 or 3 tenths out of the leader so far, and it's coming down pretty quickly, to be honest. 6 laps, so it's just over a second a lap, isn't it, to win the race. Connor picks up a 3-second time penalty, and Chris gets through on the Zespol whilst he's in the pits. He's going to be a couple of others overtaking him as well. Teammates through on him. And Nerdy is making a bit of a recovery as well. He might find himself in the points by the end of this lap. And that he does, good recovery. Can he keep his point train going? And here comes Nellboy within a second again, so he's going to get DRS. I actually think the gap was actually more than 8 seconds. I wasn't including how far back Nellboy was from Mikey earlier. So it's about 8 seconds now, and then we'll see what damage he can do. Nellboy's just having to be patient. And here goes Nellboy now. ERS on, DRS. Mikey's going to be defenceless here. Way older tyres. Nellboy is through, and he's back onto the podium. So it's 8.2 is the gap to first. 2 seconds to Brandon, and he's not easy to overtake Brandon. He's quick enough, but again, Nellboy is absolutely on one. How quickly, I mean, look at that. Just in one corner, it's half a second. So this is going to get interesting by the end of the race. Jordan is surely on a one-stop. Brandon too, but Brandon is going to be easy meat. He's already within a second. He's taken a second and nearly a half out of him already in one sector. So DRS not on, didn't have it in time. ERS used it a little bit, but he's going to be right up behind him. This is what I mean about choosing your moments. Hang in there. He'll do this probably down the hangar straight unless he gets a better opportunity here. He might be able to get a better exit than that. Look at that. He's given himself a good launch out of that final corner, and he's through already. So again, making the moves, it's just going to help him and make the overtake so much easier. It's really good driving this from Nell, and I'm glad I'm on board watching it, because all you drivers out there watching thinking that every single turn has to be an overtake, this is how you do it. Line up the overtake, make it happen at the right time. And there, look, Jordan just getting off the back end of the hangar straight. It's still 6.2 to the leader. And is Nellboy going to be able to chew enough into that lead to get back at him? It's now under 6 seconds, so within a matter of a couple of corners, 3/10 disappears. 4 laps to go. Nellboy versus Jordan. Nellboy coming like an absolute steam train. And there's not many battles in the top 10 outside of this, so we're going to stick with the masterclass from Nellboy. That's another 3/10 gone. So current rate, it's more than a second a lap that he needs, and he is lapping at more than a second currently. And Jordan's tyres are just going to keep getting worse. I mean, Nellboy's will wear as well, but he's on the quicker compound. Look at this, it's nearly under 5 seconds now. So this is going to be, I reckon, lap 25. He'll see him, and he'll be putting him under pressure. As Zettervold puts in the fastest lap from P16. Haywood looks like he's closing in on ill vision, but the gap is just starting to increase again now. So not too much else to watch, really, in truth. Guna looks like he's closing in on Nerdy. But again, the big news story, Nellboy now within 4.5 seconds of Jordan. Let's just jump on with Jordan, see how he's faring with these hard tyres. They must be pretty old. They must be feeling, I don't know, like he's got ice on there. But he's got 3 laps to go to preserve a 4.5 second lead. He will fancy it. Nellboy will also fancy it. And if I'm putting my money down now, I think based on the way he's been picking people off, I'm going to say Nell should have this. But he needs the tyres to stick with him. He needs Jordan's to fall off a cliff. But look at that, he's under 4 seconds now already. This should, I say should, be a top step for Nellboy today. Three and a half seconds now, the gap. Nailboy making his way down the old pit straight. We've got 2.5 laps left. So again, the gap is still over a second a lap, which is which will give Jordan a little bit of comfort. But these types of corners are where the tyre wear will make a difference. But actually, let's have a look as he exits the straight. He's taken 2/10 out of him. So to do that round one part of the track, you'd say that it's easily over a second that he's gaining per lap. And he's getting closer and closer. It's going to be under 3 seconds now, which means it's 1.5 seconds a lap and has to get past him as well. So this is going to be ever so tight by the end. Ever so tight. And it's just whether Nailboy can get close enough to make the overtake. That's the next question. But he has the hanger straight towards the end of the lap, which will help him. And again, he's taken another second out of him just in sector 1. That seems to be where he's picking up most of the benefit. And it will be because the straights, the tyre wear just doesn't matter. You're driving in a straight line. It's going to be corners like this where the difference happens. So can he get this under 1.5 seconds? And if he can, by the end of the lap, your money's got to be on Nailboy. There's already 1 second taken out of him up to this point on this lap. Oh, and he's run a bit wide. It's not enough to give him a penalty, but it has dropped him a 1/10 back. That could be costly, that. Just got to keep his concentration now. Again, he's gained the 1/10 back. But currently, as it stands, it's going to be just about 1.5 seconds, I think. This is going to be close. This is going to be very close. And this has got to be a quali lap from Nell now. And it is 1.5 seconds, so it's going to be exactly 1.5 seconds to make up on the last lap. Here we go then. Final lap. Jordan started it. Is it the final lap? Oh, we've got 2 left. I mean, if we've got 2 left, Jordan's in a heap of trouble. I thought he was on the final lap. What am I talking about? Here we go. He's not going to have DRS here. He probably will have it down the hanger straight. And we've got yellow flags. And it is a Aston Martin. That's Zetterfall by the look of it, that he's got going again. It's not actually been a safety car in this race. Fuel might become a problem. I don't know if anyone tried under fueling. But they're in a heap of bother if they have. And Nell will certainly hope he's got enough fuel, because he needs to absolutely floor it to the end. Jordan's going to be looking back in his mirrors, seeing that Red Bull closing him down. And to be fair, to do a one-stop and nearly 20 laps on these hard tyres, he's done very well to get to this point. But I think this is probably going to be an easy job for Nell. He's not using his ERS. He's going to save it. He hasn't got DRS open for some reason. He should have it. But again, maybe he's just thinking a little bit further ahead. Maybe I don't want Jordan to get DRS on me later in this lap. So wonder if he'll look for the next straight, or maybe he'll just wait for the next hanger straight. You know, but the difference is 3/10, and we're on the final lap. Jordan in first, Nailboy in second. Different strategies. Jordan came out on the hards and wanted to go to the end. Nailboy came out on softs and opened up a big gap. Came back out on medium, started in 12th, and he's made his way all the way back up to second with a huge 10-second gap to these two, to Brandon. So, and here comes Nailboy to make the overtake on the final lap. Now, the question is, can Jordan stick with him down the hanger straight? Because if he can get to the hanger straight on the back of him with DRS open, he might just put the ball back in Jordan's court. But you've got to imagine that Nailboy is going to be quick through these corners. And look at the straight line speed of Jordan. Has Nailboy done this too early? Jordan's straight line speed is something else, but this should be the point where Nailboy can say, see you in a bit. Come at me down the straight. And Nelboy does get a better exit, but here we go. Jordan's going to have his DRS wide open. He's got his ERS on. Nelboy's going to be blasting all the ERS he's got. If he hasn't done it here, I can't imagine that he's going to get Nelboy by the line, because Nelboy's just going to be so much better through the corners. And it is going to be Nelboy. He comes round the last 2 corners, puts his foot down for the final time, clips the final apex, and he comes home and wins it on the last lap. Jordan with a great race as well. Brandon's going to come round in 3rd place. Pretty lonely 3rd place in the end, but look behind Brandon. We've got the 2 McLarens working together for once. Wazza comes home in 4th. Little Mikey just behind him in 5th. Oh, but look at the penalty sorting it all out. Hackett jumps to 4th. Chris goes ahead of the McLarens in 5th. Ill Vision I spoke to sooner than the McLaren boys. Joe about to come round in 9th. Diego is going to take the final points place. Is Bog close enough? I think he is. Is Bog going to nick the final point? He is. And then his teammate Nerdy into 12th. Diego 13th. Berserk coming round now in the Ferrari. And Connor manages to finish, come round, very wide. But yeah, he's making his way around. 15th. Zetterborn on his way around on the softs. He's up into 15th because of penalties. And then Mr. Lakatsis on his way around the final sector now to finish off the grid. No retirements. Don't let me down, Lakatsis. 2 corners to go, my friend. And he does. No retirements. Well done, Division 3. What a race with changing conditions. But I think there's only one driver of the day, and that's got to be Mr. Nelboy himself. And even the game agrees. It's not normal, that. The game normally gives it to someone else. But yeah, what a strategy. Lost his place off the start, went into 3rd, managed to get back within a couple of laps, and then went for the opposite strategy to nearly everyone else on the grid. They wanted a 1-stop. Nelboy made it a 2-stop. Came out in the softs, increased his gap out in front. Came in on the softs at the right time. Changed to the mediums and hunted everyone down from 12th place. Gets all the way back to 1st. There was plenty of risk in that, but he made it look simple. And I urge anyone that races F1 that maybe struggles to finish races to watch Nelboy and just look at how he controlled that race and his overtakes. Pick the right moments at the right time and look at the result he gets. So Nelboy on top of the podium first, Jordan in 2nd after a great race from him. Just the 1-stop didn't quite work. It was only 1 lap he had to hold on for. Very unfortunate. But Brandon takes 3rd. He's on the podium again. Hackett in 4th. Chris in 5th. Ill Vision 6th. Little Mikey in 7th. Wazza in 8th after they came over the line in 4th and 5th. Joe in 9th. Bog takes the final point. Guna recovers to 11th. Then we've got Nerdy and Diego. Berserk in 14th. Then I think it was Zetterfall, Connor, and then Lakatsis. So fantastic race from Division 3. No retirements. Nice clean racing. No safety cars. And mixed weather conditions. It's been great to watch you again this week. And I'm away next week. But I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time for more Division 3 action. So yeah, join in next week. See how the guys get on. But for now, goodbye.